Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plot 8 Kavla Road, the Barrow House, for another episode of the TalkTrack. I'm your host today, the Alchemist, aka Roy. Shout out to Village Man in his absentia. I hope I don't do your job better than you. Anyway, the TalkTrack is an independent production of the Kara Junkies, produced, edited, and directed by Maurice. And in typical tradition, we'll start our conversation today with a toast. And I would like to dedicate this toast to all of you for being here, for supporting the Kara Junkies and the Barrow House, but more importantly, to sharing bright ideas with open minds and fun people. So here's to pleasant discussion. Rena, there we go. Alcohol bans.
I've just, this shot I've taken,
Uh-huh.
has taken me back to campus. I hope this is the last shot I take because campus choices were not the best.
I hope not. Anyway, so today I'd like to take us into something, I wouldn't say lighthearted. It's a little bit heavier. But over the course of last week, I've engaged in conversations with about 3 to 4 people. And these conversations have had me questioning the intricacies of human emotion and human connections, whether it's platonic, whether it's romantic, whether it's professional. I have noticed that, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and this is the beauty of a platform like this, is ideas will be shared. But I have noticed, and we can all bear witness to this, that a lot of the connections we make these days are, for lack of a better word, surface level. Yeah, there is nothing that really anchors us to the people or the things that we think we are connected to, because when you get to the deeper level of understanding and you try to break down what actually connects you to certain things or certain people, you find that it's a very thin string that can easily be detached. That's why it's very easy for someone to break up with someone they said they would love forever. It's very easy for someone to get a divorce. It's very easy for someone to, leave a job that they claim they loved, or leave a person they claim they loved. So the larger discussion today is going to revolve around a thought that I've had. And the question is, and this is the guiding question, have we as a society become desensitized to real and genuine connection? Have we as a society become desensitized to real and genuine connection? That is the guiding question. Of course, we are going to talk about things like what, in your opinion, all of you, counts as a genuine connection, and what are the pillars of the genuine connection. But eventually we must answer the question, have we as a society become desensitized to real and genuine connection? So let's start off from there. Feel free, speak your mind, guys. It's fun.
Sorry, guys,
it's open.
I was already prepared because as soon as you said, I had an answer.
Yeah,
it is
please.
very true.
Here's
the thing. For so long, I don't know if it is the adults, just like we are the adults now in the kids' lives. I don't know if it is just what we see or hear growing up, or the experiences that shape what we think is true connection. Quite often, people are not even sure why they are with people. It's like, if I feel good in this moment, I am going to do this. What happens when that moment doesn't feel the same? We're literally a bunch of human beings walking around, wasting people's time, wasting people's energy, and also ruining people's energy. You see, energy is key. So if I am not finding a connection, but I just want to be there because it's probably the it thing, yeah? Or it is because, there's so many reasons people are around people, yeah? For me, I think personally, if I do not connect, I shall not connect. Amen. It is as simple as that. Because I'm not about to waste someone's energy. Because what I'm expecting is when I connect with you, I am taking your entire self. I'm not taking bits of you. whether it's a job, whether it's a friendship, whether it's love, whatever it is, let's stop wasting people's time. Because if I want to be around Kia because I feel Kia is going to make me look like a better person, what happens when Kia's flaw shows? Because we are human beings. Then when Kia's flaw shows, or sometimes in my perception, Kia's flaw, yet it might not be, but because remember we are human beings, we have different approach to things. We look at life differently. We come from different homes and backgrounds. And the moment that one thing, Kia, I said, let's go to Sarah now. It means I'm wasting Kia's time and energy, because as a human being, I'm expecting the same from her. That when we connect, that Kia is going to take my good and bad. And that's shocking, actually. It's even worse in, like, let me use relationships, love. You find that there are friendships that have stood the test of time, but you've decided to say you're marrying me, we're having children, what? The moment one car flow, you get, what I look for. You get what I'm trying to say? And I think, let's just be honest. This conversation is one of those ones where I'm like, let's be honest. Let's not waste people's time. And we also need to acknowledge people are around people for different reasons. Not everyone who comes in Henry's life is going to come because they want to know Henry or to be Henry's. It's about, unfortunately, for the bigger part of the world, it's about what do I get. I've not said be with people where you don't get. Because growth, if you also have friends where you don't grow, leave. Because what is that? But again, it should be, in my language, they say, umpankuhe, nizongonze takoraki, itafa.
What?
Give and impankuhe, nizongonze itafa. It's
For
a
the
give and
listeners,
take.
we do not have subtitles, so you'll ask later.
A give and take, yeah, is a relationship, or is a love, or is an understanding that does not die. It means I will take your good, I'll take your bad. In return, you're doing the same. It's as simple as that.
No, it's about an opinion. Thank you so much for that, Rowena. Anyone else has something to add on that?
Oh my God. Can I have the question one more time, please?
Yes. Have we as a society become desensitized to real and genuine connection?
Desensitized. Wow. Okay. So, in my opinion, here's the thing. I feel like the world evolves every single day. Human beings do, the way we think do. Development, culture, and all these other things. The way our grandparents were raised is not the same way we are being raised. The values were different. The things they valued were different. Like, like personal values, but also like things they valued in terms of, let's say, wealth, this and that, were completely different from what we value, like our generation. So I feel like our generation has, because of development and a lot of things, we have pushed so much to, I either rely on myself or use someone to get what I want from them, than as opposed to, like, let's say how our grandparents were, like you would give someone 1,000 cows, just for this person and buried they and stuff like that. For now, people, we have become too shameless to a point that we find it so easy to cut you down in your knees if you make one simple mistake. And then we've been calling you our friends for, I don't know, a long time. So I feel like every friendship or relationship, there should be mutuality. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing the word right. Emotional connection. Like, you connect with this person, you have these agreements, you come to a common understanding. Forgiveness, of course, and all these other things. But we've gone so off track that we think we can be self-reliant. I don't need so and so. I don't need this person in my life. I can do it on my own and stuff like that. Kumbe, the saying that says no man is an island still stands in every aspect of life, But then, on the same note, I keep telling people, and this I never even want my kids to ever forget. Not everyone is meant to be your friend. Not everyone is meant to be close to you, because in this era we have different intentions. Different intentions. I want Rowena because I can get something from Rowena. There is something she has that I don't have. Maybe my self-esteem is low, but I can be codependent on Rowena and get certain things. You get, like, our intentions are so different, and it's so sad that we cannot see through people, like see people's hearts and their mind. You have to be extremely intelligent enough to not, the vibe, the energy, the emotional intelligence part of it, So we have definitely gone off, and I wish we could go back to the era of our grandparents, but I mean with the fancy buildings and the roads and stuff like that and the internet. Yeah, I wish we could go back to, that, I don't know whether communism is the word to use, like that community, like togetherness thing. If my neighbor is screaming, I'll get out and go find out, than be like, we're banzi today, stuff like that. Exactly. So we've gone off, completely off. And also, I feel like change of generations, there is a lot of family trauma in different families. So the more we grow up, someone was telling me something today, like people from the 80s and early 90s and maybe late 70s, they were raised differently. And someone was telling me, don't trust an older woman if they tell you certain things about something, because that will be their opinion according to how they were raised, the traumas they went through, and they will try to project that and tell you, oh, you should never do this because this is like this and this and this. So I feel like also families have, like, the parenting stuff, all that has changed. There is a lot of trauma in different families. So you grow up and you become an older human being that has 1,000 trust issues. So even a genuine connection you would have with someone, your trust issues pull you away. You end up messing up a friendship that would be really genuine. But because maybe we don't know how to navigate it, maybe we all just need to heal, but we don't know how to go about it. So we end up messing up friendships, love affairs, and all these other things that come with, our friends and partners. So I don't know if I made sense.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. That was very insightful. Any other ideas before I interject?
Personally, I think I can add on what Sarah said. Comes with the generation we are in. There's so much information, and the more the information really encourages people, like there's that on you can do it on your own, myself and I, like that individualism that has made us very selfish as human beings. Like we have forgotten that actually relationships or anything takes sacrifice. Like we don't even put in the hard work anymore. Like we are in that temporary high. Like I'm going to be your friend for this time because you're making me happy. But we're not able actually to deal with the bad things that come with certain situations. Because with every relationship, there's always okay, not that there's always a negative thing, but we all have our flaws, like Rowena said. But we are not willing to do that. I think it also comes like we're always looking for something that takes us higher, just like a drug. If this is not working for me anymore, it's not giving me the high I need, I'm going to look for a stronger one. So I think we're in a generation where we have an illusion of options. I can say it's an illusion. Like we feel we can easily replace people. We think people are irreplaceable. Yet it's not that true. We're actually not the same. Like every individual is bringing something different in your life. As I said, no, not everyone can be your friend, but you can actually have friends who mean well for you. But sometimes we are just too stubborn, too selfish. Because in life we have to be selfless at a certain time. Like first stop thinking about yourself and think about the next individual in your life. That's why people go around hurting people, they don't even care. But every action we have it has consequences. You can't keep using people like from one person to another just because you're not getting what you need from this person. You move on. You just keep collecting bad energy from one place to another and you keep spreading it. I think it's spreading it when you don't deal with your personal issues and just jump to the next person because they give you. But I think it's important to be selfless, to be accountable, to be responsible, and to be selfless, like care about the individual you're dealing with, your friends, your family, your partners. We all have our needs. Like in a relationship, we all have our needs. Be where your needs are being met. Communicate your needs. And if they are not being met, maybe sometimes I think we speak different languages, even in friendships. Like you can have, I can come to Rowena, and then there are different reasons why I want to be her friend. But I'm not going to communicate my needs to her, and we will never know. And then be like, no, this person doesn't work for me. But they do work for you, you're just not communicating the same language. Like talk to each other, get to know each other. I think that's.
Ooh, that's lovely. Yeah, that's
My hand
okay,
up, eh?
Rowena. Go ahead.
I think we are all actually saying the same thing but differently. You understand, yeah? Because I'll go back to when we said self-importance. By the way, and I keep saying this, it's okay for us to know our value. But the moment we cross, it's a thin line, between knowing your value and overly wanting to put people, in some sort of state because, me, kind of thing. I am irreplaceable. I am this. If it's not me, it cannot be, And yet what we don't realize is that, like you said, everyone brings something different to the table. It may not be you, but someone else can do something, similar. So I think when we talk about generations, and I think this topic is something a bit wide, I don't know. One time our people here will probably give us that chance. I feel like we are also in a generation that has too many excuses. You get? Because everything, like you said, someone mentioned, don't listen to an older person. I mean, it's okay. And this generation itself has its own traumas, and they're going to be parents, and the kids are going to say the same thing, traumas. Everything in life has trauma that comes with it, has what we call memories or journeys that come with it, because we are human beings and we experience things and we learn things. So I think also this generation, because of ego and not wanting to hear, we shall say it is trauma. Even just as we exist here, there are traumas that may not be caused by the previous generation. Things that you learn, and in future you tell someone younger, or you're able to sit with someone older and say, this can happen if this. And these things have over time, and usually when you get older, you realize they were not wrong. So I don't think that is trauma. I think the real issue we are having today, and I think that's why we mentioned society, especially today when we talked about the self-importance, me, that ego. And if you see, that's why the world is resetting itself. Because the energy has, at some point, if you're not setting it as human beings or the things that exist on this earth, it will reset itself, And we are not reading the signs. We've refused. We are stubborn. The universe is telling us, but we've refused. So I think every time I sit here and think I am the only one who can do this, a few years from now, remember I keep telling people 100 years from now, people are going to be walking the path we walked and we are not here. Someone else is going to do the same thing and they'll also feel like, without me. But also let's be careful, guys, the people around us. Not everyone who's around. Do you know there are people who can make you lose your opportunities? Yeah? We need to learn to know that, okay, emotions, where do I attach my emotions? When do I open up myself? Because sometimes you open yourself up to people, to the wrong people. By the way, they can come, my brother likes saying, wolves in sheepskin. And you open up, and Henry opens up to me. But from the day Henry opens up to me, I'm his disaster. I may not necessarily come as a train wreck physically, but the choices Henry is going to make, the way Henry is going to look at her, at him, because my energy. So I think we should also learn to protect our energies. Yeah? When we're talking emotions, it comes with energy. I swear to the heavens, if it doesn't work, like she said, not everyone is for you. Leave it. But don't be angry because I wanted to be Kia's friend, but I can't. Yeah? Let's just accept that everyone's journeys are.
Okay, thank you guys for that. That was really, really brilliant.
We are inheriting we are inheriting other people's enemies to become our enemies.
It's also partly, I think.
We are inheriting our friends' enemies.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that is if as a human.
Henry's question was: Are we inheriting other people's enemies as our enemies? But before we get to that, allow me just provide a brief recap of what all of you guys have talked about. So remember, the guiding question was: Are we as a society desensitized to real and genuine connection, whether it's in our romantic, personal, professional, or platonic lives? And the answer I have derived from listening to all of you is that's a big yes. That's a big yes. And summarily speaking, like Rowena had said earlier, we've all, all of you have given your opinions, but I think it came down to one thing, because there is aspect of change in society and evolution that Sarah brought up, which is really, really good, and that's something we'll touch on in the future, but also change of values. But I would like to pinpoint two things, and maybe this is something we can piggyback off much later. Kia's point of the illusion of options, and Rowena's point of self-importance and individuality. Going off those two topics, with, as we've already established, our relationships in any sort being give and take, do we think that, or do we believe that accepting people with their eccentricities, so their individualities and who they are, is a genuine foundation of building a strong connection, or is that something that just comes much later? And then after that, we shall briefly talk about Mukuba's point of, do we consciously or unconsciously inherit friends or even enemies from other people in a bid to build a genuine connection? But that very first question, the aspect of individuality in everything that we do, is it important to maintain that, and is it important to accept that, and is that a foundation, or a strong foundation for building stronger connections as a society?
According to me, that individuality perception is going to be under the pillars of our connections. Okay? I'll generalize it under that. Now, one of the pillars will be understanding. Understand who you are connecting with, because it's very, very important. I'll be like, I want to be Rowena's friend because I want to go out with her. She's going to provide me A, B, C, D. But on the other hand, have I understood the reason as to why she's accepting me to be her friend? Definitely no. That will be the answer. She hasn't understood why I want to be her friend, and she also doesn't know why I am getting to be her friend. Then the second thing is communication. Same way as we communicate maybe to our partners and our family, it is better to tell the person you want to connect with the reason as to why you're coming to them.
I'm connecting to you because I need you to get me a job. I'm connecting to you because I want to party with you. You can provide me with the drinks I need. That has ever happened to me, by the way. Let me give you an example. I had friends in Ginger. That time I was working in Kampala. So every Friday, the new Semi comes back to Ginger. The first thing they'll call me by 6. Where are you? Are you on your way? I'm like, yes, I'm coming. Okay, meet us at maybe 49 or any other place. I'm like, it's okay, I'm coming. We drink. They don't contribute to anything. They'll not contribute, not like in the monetary way, but your growth, advice, or anything to your life. Nothing. They're just draining you. So I reached up time and I'm like, but really, why am I having these guys in my life? They don't add to anything. Not my career, not anything. So I went and told them, you guys, you know what? It is high time I stopped being a friend to you guys. It is too much. There is nothing you're adding to my life. I told them off, so that is where the communication bit comes from. Whether they like it or not, it is up to them, as long as you have communicated what you feel like. So it is now upon them to see what you're trying to communicate with them so that they carry on or just live your life. So in the long run, I think I stayed with like 2 of them. The others left. There were like 6 that left. And I stayed back with the 2. Yeah. So communication is also very important to understand how your connection is going to run. Yeah, so I think that is it.
Hold up. What's the score? Arsenal Liverpool? Just a quick one. Just need to find that out real quick. Can someone Google that as Rowena gives us a point?
Okay, yes. You had talked about, is it important to be connected, no? For things to work. Yes. It's important to be emotionally available. And I think people have misunderstood the term emotion. Emotion is not an insult. Okay? Emotion is you being human. If you had no emotions, you'd be a robot. Okay? I keep telling people this. That means over the years would not be having things like law, would not be having things like marriages, would not be having things like growth in communities. For some reason, we are also, like I said, we are in a generation that is so full of itself. Emotion is not an insult. It should not be, at least, the way people use it. And I think people need to learn 2 things: emotional intelligence, emotional growth, and being emotionally involved. Anyone who is able to master those 3 things, they will soar so high. Yeah? But people are afraid to be in touch with themselves, because if I am, someone is going to call me emotional. If I am, someone's going to say I'm weak. Then you're a robot. If you have no emotions, go be a robot. Because you can't tell me as a human being. And that is why, by the way, we have not learned how to listen to our emotion, listen to our emotional growth, intelligence. All of these things are key and important. That's why I said you cannot claim to be emotionally intelligent on one thing and fail to understand that even the people you're letting in require emotional involvement and smarts. Yeah? So I think if we learn to be more human, yeah, it's all I'm asking for. And I thank God for such talks. If only we go back to being more human, then we shall master what it's like to be human. Then I'll know, do I want Morris in my space? Yeah? Okay, Morris is in my space. Not every time you think about these things, by the way. Sometimes you meet people, you connect. Okay, so now here we are. I have Kia, I have Joshua, I have I have Sarah. They're in my space. Yeah? But as you get to know people, that's how human beings work, and we evolve and revolve. That's why there are people you meet, next time you don't meet again. There's no insults there. There's no, it just didn't feel right. So if I'm in your space, it's upon both of us Because when it's one-sided, it's hectic. I can't keep trying to find out, Henry, what is wrong? Every day, Henry, what is wrong? Henry can't come and tell me, you see, Rowena, I feel this. I am not God. So I think let's get in touch with our humanity, with our souls. Because people think emotional intelligence is actually avoiding emotion. And that's the funny part. If we get in touch with our emotions, the human, I will not judge Henry, I'll not judge Sarah, I will not judge Maurice, you get, for being human. And if it doesn't work for me, then I will know that, okay, I wasn't really in this. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time as well. Where Kia has to ask me, hey, what's up? Because I've passed Kia and I'm not sure if I should say hello to Kia or not.
Okay.
But I'm around Kia. Why am I around Kia? When I'm not sure if I want to be around Kia or not. That means I'm not emotionally intelligent.
But have you seen Kia?
Auntie, that's what So I think we need to be real with ourselves. Like, all of these things we are talking about, yes, generation what? But also because we are in a generation where people are detaching from being human. They are detaching from their humanity. We are just all thinking we are generators, we are robots. Yeah?
Artificial intelligence.
Chat
GPT.
Back in the day, these days you can't even hear someone. This has been my friend since P1. When?
Thank you so much for that, Rowena. You've brought up a very excellent point, and of course, in the interest of time, we're going to make this it's a very wide discussion, and I wish we had 3-4 hours to record this and have deliberate on everything that everyone has discussed, because everyone has made really good points. But on top of everything that has been talked about, Rowena right now has just brought up a very, very important subject of us behaving less like human beings, and the generation of the society in which we are has made that sort of the it thing. Like, it's cool to be closed off, it's cool to have walls, it's cool to shut yourself off from human connection. And again, back to the question, are we desensitized to real connection? And all of you have answered yes. But our final point of contention, because we're in a society where we are slowly moving away from the aspects that make us human, or the aspects that separated us from everything and everyone else as a species, and in an era of exposure, vast exposure, extreme exposure, like you're getting new information every day, you're being bombarded with something new. 10 ways to lose a guy, 10 ways to keep a guy. How to lose belly fat in 24 hours. See, things like that. But all of this circulate via social media, right? It is your Twitter link. It's a link on Twitter, it's a link on Instagram, it's on Pinterest, it's on TikTok. So do you think the advent of social media has played, and let's have this discussion as quickly as possible in about 10 minutes, do we think that the advent of social media has played a part in how our relationships, whether it's professional, platonic, or romantic, has social media played a part in how much we have become desensitized to real connection?
That was exactly going to be my next point before you even asked. Yes, it has. And
in what way, please, if you can give us that one also?
I didn't hear you, honestly.
Has social media played a big part in why our relationships or connections these days are so desensitized from the aspect of genuine? And if it has, how? Like, how has social media been a driver of that sentiment?
Guys, here's the thing. When our grandparents, I'm going to keep using the example of our grandparents because I feel like that's the generation that tried. If that's the one. Right now, I won't even lie. I use Bumble. It's a dating app. Swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, swipe right. But I'm judging someone based off what they've put on their profile. and how good they look in pictures. But there is filters, you can edit the pictures. I can write the best paragraph about myself when that's not what I'm not.
Even on LinkedIn. Eh?
Yes. I am a CEO of a certain company. As opposed to when our grandparents were growing up, there was this whole arranged marriage thing. My Sengas got the other family because they noticed Josh is a handsome young man. He has gone to the war and fought and come back and stuff like that.
Josh, allow.
And they looked at a bunch of other details from Josh's family. Things like that, you know. Now, with social media, we look at things on the internet that cause self-hate, vulgar information, or information that is not actually very, very true. And the saddest part is we have no way of censoring this information, what is right and what is not right, you know. And the other sad part is there is young children on the internet that consume this information and they just take it in and do that, you know. With that, they cannot tell, like, I can't lose belly fat and make my waist thin in 24 hours. Like, that's impossible. But a kid will go and consume all the lemon in the fridge, you know.
And then you have
and have ulcers. So yes, social media has, and we've also found ourselves in a community that does not really exist. It's invisible. Like, I appreciate this. We are here talking about things we can see each other. I can read your body language and say, Rowena is not happy with my statement. On the internet, I will not be able to understand whether Trump is meaning what he's saying or not. And, you know, like, all these things, you know. And then the saddest part is these are the people you see an influencer on Instagram and they're like, wow, she has so much sense, I want to be her friend. She's using ChatGPT and getting all the correct information and giving out, and you think that's how they think. You meet them 1 month and you're like, I want to marry this person. You end up in marriage with someone you've known for like 5 years on the internet, 1 month in real life, you get. And it messes you up emotionally. Maybe you're self-aware, but are you aware of the person you're going to be friends with or in a relationship with? You could be self-aware as a person and you know, this triggers me, this doesn't. But the other person you've known for a long time on the internet and very short in real life, are you aware of them? You know, and all these other things. So yes. And that's why when I was starting, I said I wish we could go back to our grandparents' generation. But maybe with Instagram and Snapchat, because I like the gospel on Snapchat, you know.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah.
I'm sorry. I think all of us, as we wind up, no? All of us.
Yeah, one minute.
I wanted to say something, though. I love that you brought up the social media thing, eh? And she mentioned she went back to our parents or our grandparents, okay? These people had time, even if it was arranged. You meet people, you know, people contact, yeah? Today, everyone is a psychiatrist, psychologist, motivational speaker. Everyone is a saint as long as it's them. And they're the ones telling everyone. Me, I sat down the other day, I'm like, everyone is a psychologist now, eh? Everyone has every situation. But you see, it's because, that's what I'm telling you. We're now having things where people are using things like trauma. Because everyone is a psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever. We are giving everyone knows something. You know? Everyone is going to get a situation and have something about the psychology of it to say, and yet we need to, I think, sieve. We need to be sure. I think how we start by sieving, like I said, let's value people, person to person contacts. Yeah, let's take the time to know people, because it's okay. I may be getting to know you within the year. If I don't feel right, I shall not be offensive. I shall become busy.
That is true.
Let's also learn to walk away from these things as human beings nicely. If without being disrespectful, without trying to make someone else look like they are not the saint you are. And that's why I said, because of this everyone has actually today, any one of us can start an office there. And say, I'm a shrink, man. You come and talk to me. I know these things. So that's why I think for me the problem is with the internet. Everyone, those book quotes we see every morning. Then you think about your whole day, and last week and last year. So social media, it's okay, but let's learn to be more direct, more people contact. I think for me, I value that.
Okay, so you're saying be more present in the moment with individuals, not with robots. Also, my Pinterest thingy is full of quotes. I'm going to just go and delete them today. Yeah. Also, don't ghost people. That's what Lorena said. She said it somewhere there, but don't ghost people.
I feel like I'm going to just repeat what everyone has said.
It is okay.
But yeah, social media has come with its own negative thing. As much as we look back and admire the old generation, I think we are being unfair to ourselves. I think we are a very privileged generation that we are so enlightened and we have so much information. I like this generation because we are able to put ourselves first.
And we do not have to hunt. Yes.
Yeah. But with social media, I think social media is a very fake environment. Nothing is real. Like even things you think are so real, at the end of it all, like I see that the hit couples on media that we follow and admire their content so much. I see when they break up, people are like, oh no, I can't believe in love anymore. Why did they break up? But people don't post their bad days on social media. Even me, I don't post my bad days. I always post myself in happy moments. But then we forget, we see very smiley faces and we forget that life actually has. Exactly. That's why you can't rely on social media because no one is actually posting their bad days. Even couples are not posting when they are fighting.
Especially couples.
They only post the good times. Then we forget that relationships, whether it's at the workplace, whether it's just friendships, there are hard days. There are issues to deal with. There's sitting down and talking. But also, as much that is, I think it's unfair for us to hold on to some situations. Like it's okay to let go, things that are not working for you. Like choose to be in a place that you're comfortable, that you feel safe. Communication, because I feel sometimes we may judge our friends for not being themselves, but we are not providing that safe environment for people to actually come out of their shell. Because someone, maybe you laugh in a certain way and people are judging you. You'll find even in a funny situation, someone is just quiet because they're actually not in a safe environment. As much as we want to keep relations, let's make sure that we are providing a safe place for someone to actually open up to you. And also let's stop living as like robots, like she's saying. Like we're so afraid to
be human.
To be human, to communicate our feelings. Like I keep saying, like, why do we live like we have forever to live? We're not going to be here maybe even in 70 years, 100. We're not going to be here. So why can't we live in the moment, enjoy it, and communicate? Tell the people you love, tell them you love them. Because tomorrow you wake up, you have lost touch with them, and you'll never know what could have happened. So I think we should be more human at the end of that day.
Thank you so much, Kia. So in the interest of time, you guys are going to allow me to bring this to a close. But in 4 to 5 minutes, Olivia and Joss have just joined us. Hi, guys. How you doing? So the topic today was, the guiding question was, are we as a society desensitized to real and genuine connection in our relationships, whether it's professional, platonic, or romantic? And everyone has agreed that to a certain extent that has happened, especially in our current society, due to various issues. You know, there's that increased individuality complex that we all have. We have the illusion of options, but there's also been change in what we value as a society from the societies before us and the generations before us. So, to Jocelyn and Olivia, in 2 minutes each, what do you think we can do as a society with all the resources that we have, the exposure, the social media, the numerous shrinks, Arsenal and Liverpool? What can we do with all the resources that we have to make our relationships that much better? So what are the steps maybe that we can take? What are the things that we can do with the resources that we have to better our relationships in the current society? 2 minutes each, guys. This is not a thesis.
Okay. So what I can say is, I'll bring a simple scenario that I can be quick. So think of a savings account, and whatever the relationship is, think of it as a transaction. So if you, when we are in relationships with people, you find that we keep making withdrawals and very little deposits. There is some relationships that we know will forever be there. Like my mom, she calls me and I don't want to talk to you, you know? So, but because I know that account is full, but then there is this, it might be Henry, is my friend. And I keep withdrawing from him. I remove 1,000, I remove 50K, and it is there. Yet I'm making very little deposit. So I think, hello? I think to help improve relationships, we should be cautious when we are withdrawing and when we are depositing. And always remember, it's very important for us to deposit, because that's what keeps the relationship going. If you're just withdrawing, the account is going to run bankrupt and the manager will close it, you know? So that's how I would think of relationships. I don't know if that made sense.
Wow.
But I think it's good for us to know
that was a very lovely summary. Thank you so much for that, Olivia. Jocelyn?
Okay, so I guess if I look at the resources that we have today, like we have a lot of things online, like you were saying, that people might post. But if you look deep into it, you can kind of start to understand other people. So like an example is I recently, with my employees, I had them take like a test to see how these people fit into different colors, they're called. So with these colors, like you have a red, like me, who's very direct, very like, I want to get things done. That's what I care about. Versus like someone who's a yellow, like Martini, he would say he's just wanting to have fun. He looks at that. He doesn't really look at the details of everything, right? And so you can see when you look at, let's say, a personality test, or you look at different resources online, that everyone is different, but we also can relate in several ways that we could actually look at and be like, okay, I know Martin is a yellow, so what does that mean? How does he like to communicate? How does he like to do things? And that way I can dive more deep into it and understand it. Because if you have, let's say, an employee who doesn't look at the details, and you're forcing them like, why don't you do this? You know, why did you not do it here, there, you know, like listing all these things, and they're like, I didn't see that, you know, because they look at it from a different standpoint. So a lot of it is just like being able to use those resources and, I don't know, kind of relate them to those people in your life and see like what do they desire, and then also like what motivates them, you know, what makes them angry maybe, versus like me might be completely something different. So I think like using resources in that way, but then also like as an expat here, I'm able to use those resources to communicate, versus back in the day, I would have never been able to come over here and communicate with my family whenever I wanted, you know? But also it gives you an open up of like, what is the other side of the world like, right? Because growing up, I had a very different view of Uganda than what it is, right? So then when I came here, I was like, wow. And then I got to start to show through posts, through the resources, like this is actually what it's like, versus what we just have set in our mind if we didn't have those resources. So yeah, I think that's how we can use them to better relationships and understand people in some way. But of course, we can't take it overboard and only trust those. You have to actually get to know the person because it's not always going to be 100%.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time today. That was a very, very lovely deliberation. You all made very, very excellent points. The bottom line is I think we should all strive to be more human. Being human is not bad. Creating real deep connections is not a bad thing. And I think that is something we need to embrace more as a society. But also, because we're exposed to so much information through the various resources that we have, I think it's imperative for us to sieve, like Rowena said, what is relevant to us as a person, because you must know yourself, but also what is relevant to you within your existing relationships. So, thank you so much all for today. Again, we're at Plot 8 Gavula Road, the Barrow House. I hope you all opened your wallets. Buy a beer, guys, or drink Gilbey's. The TalkTrack is an independent production of the Kara Junkies, produced, edited, and directed by Maurice. I've been your host for the day, The Alchemist. And by the way, the views expressed on this platform are not in any way related or dictated by the Kara Junkies. That being said, thank you all once again. We can't express our gratitude in words. Feel free to stick around after the recording is stopped to engage in more conversation, and we'll see you around next Sunday. That's it from me. Have a good night, y'all.